Here we go, OverDrive, off and running, TSN 1050 on the TSN app, your home smart speaker, up on TSN 5, up on YouTube Live. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles McLennan.
How we doing today?
Feeling great. Feeling 10 years old.
Must be nice to feel like part of the family. Mine was sent out via a camel, I guess. Some guy just sent me a text saying it's under your porch, and I wrote back, my porch is cement.
Doesn't have a porch.
What, did a guy dig a hole under my porch and leave it there? Just glad you guys are all good.
So we got to explain what's going on, right? If you're listening, if you're in the car, if you're streaming or something.
Yeah.
Sunday is officially the biggest day in Canada because it's OverDrive's 10th year anniversary, right?
Yes.
That's the only thing the country's going to be focused on.
That's it.
So there's a huge celebration. There's going to be booze open early in the day. Everyone's celebrating us being 10 years old on Sunday, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And as a result, we're getting out in front of it, and we got these hoodies made. You know,
stand up a little bit, Hayes. Show the whole graphic there.
Yeah,
that's a legit hoodie.
It's beautiful.
Oh, whoa.
It's beautiful. 4 p.m., we'll chat then. And I don't know if there was a sizing issue. I don't know if there was.
No, it was sent via camel.
No,
Okay.
they sent them all the same way, but the person said it was delivered under your porch. So the guy probably just drove up onto your driveway and threw it, because that's what most delivery people do now is they drive up and throw it at your front door and drive away.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about the I checked 10 times on my porch around like it's not there. So,
all right.
But they're beautiful hoodie. How do
Beautiful.
people get them, Hazy? Or what?
Well, we're going to be giving away some.
Yeah.
We'll announce this a little bit later. We're gonna announce this a little bit later on, but there will be some available. Let's just put it that way, okay? And I think it's going to be a little online thing. There's going to be a bit of a lottery going on, but we are going to have some hoodies available for some fans, and maybe you can throw your hat in the ring and try to get one.
Win one. Oh,
maybe we can try to get the O-Dog to win a hoodie.
I'm glad that the floor is a little bit open, because I kind of got a bone to pick with him, because he threw out a greasy tweet. And
you and Rashad don't care. You and Rashad don't care about.
You don't think I care about that game today? I was very excited for Team Canada. Was I nervous? Yes, I was nervous. We were in the group text.
Last week, you and Rashad said, guys, it doesn't matter to me who wins.
I said, wake me up when the real teams start playing. This was today. This was today.
Okay.
So when Canada scored to tie it up, did you by the way, before I ask you if you fist pump when Canada made it all the way over to Finland.
Just exactly. Here's my last 24 hours. I flew in to my mom's and picked her up, flew back today. And as I'm sleeping in the middle of the night, I can hear my phone ding, ding. I get a WhatsApp. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning for the flight. It's Mika Kiprusoff going, rats, question mark. And I'm like, I don't have any idea what's going on. But somebody who listens to us in Finland, now I will say, I did Google Translate. He quoted me exactly. I said, they play like rats with all due respect, and that could help them win. So, but, of course, I got radioed, and the headline is McLennan,
called them rats.
It was great. It was great.
And I'm like, and Kipper was laughing. He had a little emoji, and I wrote back saying, context is everything, and we were back and forth. But man, they were close, I'm telling you. I mean, up 2-0, and then Canada took over the game, and they just tried to defend it.
Yes.
That's really what they did.
Now, that's how I started my day, reading Finnish newspapers, actually reading it, wondering, I'm like, is my name in here anywhere?
Yeah, it had your video. It had our video on it, right?
They got it. And your picture, they used one of your old pictures. You look phenomenal. It was the from 10 years ago, I think, your picture that they put in the paper and up online. So I'm reading Finnish at 7 in the morning, and I'm like, oh, this is wild. Noodles has caused an international incident here because you've called them rats, but you did so in a way that was respectful. What you meant by that was they're going to fight you, they're going to battle you, they're going to be on top of you. They're not going to out-talent Canada, which they didn't do today. But, man, I'd say are we battle-tested enough? Is that enough now?
That's adversity, guys. That's adversity. They hadn't had any adversity the first 3 games. Last 2 games, there's been some adversity there.
But they're out of luck. They're out of luck, Jamie. That's the last time. You want to get down 2 Cobb in the next one, it ain't going to end that way. So
I get you. I hear you.
You've had your adversity plus the luck and fortune to get it done, but that's it. You want to go down 2 Cobb to whoever you play in the finals, Team USA. I would imagine it would be.
Yeah.
it's not going to happen again. But, man, they battle, man, and they don't quit, and they stay in it, and they don't fold. And that didn't look good, man, at 2-0. And I was like, one more, I was shutting it off. Like 3-0, that thing's over.
That's
more than likely. Yeah, it's interesting. After the game, they said they actually were more nervous against Czechia because they felt they didn't play as well. And I would agree with that. I mean, the Czechia game, they were flat. And I thought, I don't know if they were flat early. I think you just have to give credit where it's due. Finland showed up to play.
Finland was awesome.
And they were ready to play.
Early.
But as the game went on, Canada was pushing and pushing and pushing. Like, Finland had nothing, man. Like, they did not get a shot on net. They went 10 minutes in between shots. Like, Canada had possession in the puck and were moving. So it kind of felt like it was coming a little bit more so than maybe the Czechia game. Easy to say it now. Easy to say it now that the dust is settled and we found out they won.
Well, let me ask you, what was your underpants cam when they challenged that? Because I'm not lying. I swear to God. The initial entry, I thought to myself, that looked close. I made a little mental note, and I said, that looked close. And then, of course, I forget about it because it's 2 minutes later, right? But I'm like, I'm sitting there watching it going, I think they might challenge that. Why not, right?
They definitely should have challenged it because the game is over. Like you have to pray the result of the challenge goes your way. Celebrini, I think he was onside clearly by like a millimeter. I think Ty goes to the original call, which was onside. I'm glad it didn't reverse it because you know where I stand on this. I think it's the dumbest rule hockey has ever implemented.
I know. And it would have been so easy for the guy to say, that was offside. I didn't like that. You guys play on.
Yeah,
so.
well, exactly. Wow. And it's a scenario where, anyway, it doesn't have to matter. It's just a footnote. You move on. But to have McDavid set up McKinnon in that fashion with 35 seconds left, if it had been ripped away because of a millimeter offside, a minute and 20 prior to that, it would have been shattering. And who knows how the rest of the game would have played out?
Exactly.
Who knows?
Yeah, well,
Maybe
one
Canada
part of the game, Brian, and I agree with my good friend Teemu Selanne, to call that penalty with 35 seconds left, I thought was a bit of a joke. Like,
the
honestly,
high stick on McKinnon?
Technically, it was a high stick, but it rode up and it glazed his nose, and he sold it, and it was like, if you watch it, maybe we should put up another one of our drawings of the game that we're allowed to put up for the show because we're not allowed to play video.
A still. You could do the still of McKinnon kind of.
He sells it. He goes DiCaprio on it. And that's an art form now in the game. It is an art form.
Dude, I get it. But if you're the ref with like 28 seconds left, 35 seconds left,
it was 2:35. It was 2.5 left. Because they played out the full power play to score.
Sorry. 2:35 left, and you call that penalty, you're basically ending the hockey game. Yes, something could happen, but for the most part, you're ending the hockey game. I agree with Teemu. I would have preferred to see them fight it out for a couple of minutes and have some chances and do it the right way. If that was the other way around, this country would be in flames right now because they'd be so pissed off.
Let me read it. So Teemu Selanne, who I believe is going to join us later this afternoon.
Oh, nice.
Yes, the grappler is grappling. 10 years in, he's going to grapple Teemu Selanne. And Alex, for that matter, because Doogie is off today.
How about Doogie taking a
Doogie's just relaxing somewhere. Yeah, Doogie, day after the Super Bowl, day after, semifinal, the Olympics, Doogie's got his feet up somewhere. But Teemu Selanne tweeted out after the game, beating the greatest country in the world, greatest hockey country in the world, and Canadian refs same night is impossible, I guess. Absolutely embarrassing penalty with 90 seconds left. What a joke. The part where he says Canadian refs is what sticks out to me because they were both Canadian, which I was surprised by. Like, I have to be honest.
Man. That's shocking.
I was surprised when I saw before the game 2 Canadian refs. Like, I'm surprised Finland didn't say pardon. Like, actually, I don't think so.
I wouldn't have allowed it, man. I would not have allowed it.
I mean, they have integrity. He didn't want to call it. You could tell it was delayed.
He hesitated. He actually hesitated.
Yes.
He actually hesitated, but again, letter of the law, I understand it, but you're right. We always brag about refs having a feel. And listen, it was a high stick, but if you I don't know, tell me if you feel this way. If you're questioning it, would you have not taken them both and go high stick, but you embellished it too? Like I had somebody
know. But
say
Jamie,
that
if
to
you
me.
watch it live, however you want to find it. It's a fan reaction call because all the fans go, oh, and McKinnon goes like this, and then the ref goes.
Yeah,
you watch the delayed reaction. He's watching it, and he does not put his hand up. I don't think he had the best view of it. And as soon as he heard the crowd go crazy, then he lifted his hand. I'm telling you, that's exactly how it played out.
I think you're right, oh, but when they reviewed it, it was a high stick.
It does
like
hit him.
Dude, I get it, but maybe
it
didn't. I don't think he saw it perfectly. It was a crowd reaction penalty, and I agree with my friend Teemu that it shouldn't have been called.
Well, here's where I would react. Here's where I would counter as a Canadian, because evidently I'm the only Canadian on this show that really wants to see them win. Because
all of a sudden I've got thrown under the bus on all these things. And what
Noodles
did I do
doesn't
wrong?
care. He's objective. And O's finished now. I didn't realize that was part of his background. My reaction as the Canadian here would be, okay, I'll grant you that, but there were 6 freaking guys on the ice a game 48 hours ago, and Canada almost got sent home because of the stupidity of the reffing.
Good comeback, and you know what? Sometimes that's the way things play out. So screw Teemu and his tweet. Now screw him and his tweet because we deserved it, and we deserved a little
Canada
good fortune.
was better. It's heartbreaking. I actually had an out-of-body experience when the call was made. And I tried to plant myself in Helsinki, which is impossible. I'm reading Noodles in the paper. I'm like, all right, what's going on here? If you're Finnish, up 2-0, and it's prime time over there, Friday night, you're partying, the bars are probably packed, you're going nuts. 2-0, you're about to beat Canada, you're thinking. Then all of a sudden it's 2-1, 2-2, and that power play is coming over the boards with 2:30 left. You're right, the game was over. The game was effectively over, and it's a magical play. McDavid sold it so beautifully. He feathers a sauce over to him. It's McDavid to McKinnon, and it's exactly what they needed because
I'll tell you what, they needed a lot, Hazy, because you don't want to know who did me dirty today? Who?
Sam Bennett, but I'd argue he redeemed himself later in the game.
Noodles, don't say you don't mind that play. That was a ridiculous penalty.
What I'm saying
is... He did me dirty. I called for him to play a prominent role, and he absolutely did me dirty today.
You know what I want him to do? The same thing against the Americans if he plays the Americans.
Not
get a penalty, though. No.
What is this, Rock'em Sock'em Hockey Volume 25?
Give me a second here. No, give me a second here. I want him to be a threat out there. I don't want him to take the penalty. I want him to be a threat. That's the difference. There's a fine line. He crossed it. He didn't. I mean, on the one angle, he doesn't really take out Saros. He kind of takes a piece of him. But my point being, he's got to work in that gray area, and he can't cross the line because you can't against the Americans. If it's the Americans, I'm assuming it's the Americans.
They're up 2-0 right now.
2-0 last I saw. If you can't do that against the Americans because that power play will chew you up. You can't. That it's going to be a thin margin for error. But Sam Bennett is a threat. And he is a guy that people are aware when he's on the ice. So to me, the Americans, the way they built their team is to combat Team Canada. And they're going to try and bully them. They're going to try and be physical. Sam Bennett is a physical force. Yes, he crossed the line today. But, he may have done you dirty, but I still think he's a very valuable piece.
Yeah, I think he redeemed himself as the game went on. I mean, he definitely – he blew up his teammate. It was Mikkola who he blew up.
Yeah.
Into Saros, who almost gave him a shiver to the face. And
it was close.
Bennett just ducked and saw it coming.
Yeah,
but
and for all the people you just screaming at me on Twitter, I just think the time of the game, that was a marginal call that the player, Nathan McKinnon, made it look like a major infraction. Okay? That's all I'm saying, and that's all Teemu's point is. To make the call, you're basically ending the hockey game, and you have to understand that.
Right.
That's it.
Well, I mean, Teemu went extreme because he's indicating it's Canadian refs and they're on the side of the Canadian team.
He's a competitive guy. He's
I
pissed
get it.
off.
And he's finished and he's pissed. But I think this is where, again, we talk about it every 4 years. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, that probably doesn't get called because I think they say, you know what, I'm going to let it fly. Maybe they do call it. I don't know. Maybe they do. They do generally lean on you break a stick, you shoot it over the glass, it's a high stick. But there's a chance. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong. But there's a chance if that's, Game 7 of the conference final, they say, I'm not calling that with 2.5. I'm not going to get involved. The IOC, IHF, international hockey, it's different. With Sam Bennett, though, I would argue the same thing. I think in the playoffs, they say, both of you guys were battling. You were pushing him. He was pushing you. Sorry. I'm not sure they call Sam Bennett in the playoffs. I really don't. I think I think it's an IOC IHF. Well, the goalie got touched here because you could argue he was skating towards it. And Mikkola ties him up, and they're battling for position, and he blows him out. Bennett's done that 15 times in the last 3 years, and he's probably been called 2 or 3 times. But the other 12 or 13, he hasn't been. So again, it kind of it's apples and oranges because it's a different league and it's officiated differently. But to finish my thought on Bennett, he was out there right at the end of the game to take the draw. I know the game was done, but he's still out there. He was on the ice for the tying goal, buzzing around, him and Marchand and Wilson. I thought Bennett redeemed himself. What stung was he took the penalty, and 2 seconds later, it's in the back of your net.
Yeah.
Like Rantanen sniped that thing.
Rantanen grabs
you
that.
You sure
and
changed your tune after calling him a scumbag last year in the playoffs after he knocked out the Leafs goalie.
I love that he's on my team. It's the same thing with McDavid. It's the same. Like I love. Not that I'm not always cheering for McDavid. I am, but it's a unique experience. These guys are on Canada. It's a different world.
For 2 weeks, you're allowed to park the team that you cheer for and cheer for the players that are on you're
Brad Marchand, man, I'm his biggest fan.
Mitch Marner, all of these people.
Mitch Marner, can't wait.
The point being, you're allowed to cheer for it. I wanted your guys. I was actually pretty fired up. Would you have challenged goalie interference on the?
Marchand fell on him for sure. I mean, it's a matter of he got pushed though, right?
But it was one steamboat, two steamboat. People saying Saros kind of was able to reset. He never really got back to position. Because he's so quick, he's able to kind of get up and move. But I thought that was a 50-50, like might have challenged that one because you know how it is. With goaltender interference, I don't know what the answer is. Mm-hmm. So I thought that one was something that they would have maybe challenged because Saros was pissed. I mean, Marchand, I fell over accidentally on purpose. He knows what he's doing, even if he gets pushed or not. But in the end, Canada, it was cardiac kids today, man. That was
that is reasonable. I mean, again, I think it was Armia or someone after the game complaining about that too. That should have been goaltender interference. It shouldn't have counted the Theodore goal. Listen, that's on the coach for not challenging, I guess. And sure, the refs could have called it, but to my eye, it looked like he got pushed. It looked like Marchand got pushed, and if you challenge and you get it wrong, the reaction to it, and you're going to the box. And listen, Canada, they've made us sweat the last 3 days. Like the women yesterday, the Czechia game 2 days ago. It's been a wild week.
I'll tell you what they're going to need in the gold medal game. I don't know if you guys agree or not, but it seems like when McDavid and McKinnon and Celebrini, it's like pressure and they need someone else to get some sustained pressure and some opportunities. Like there's just guys, and I do understand it's the Olympics, it's the best players in the world, and it's very tight checking and space is very limited. But some other guys got to stand. They can't just be out there kind of filling space and looking for one magical opportunity. They've got to have some guys step up and play better is basically what I'm saying.
And you know what? You're right, I thought Marner had a real good chance. Like, let's not forget that Saros made some really good saves
4 minutes left. Marner right down Broadway again.
That was a hell of a play by Marner and a real good right pad save by Saros. I thought he made a couple big saves because this could have been a 4-1 game for Canada once they were 4-2 once they got the game going. What were the shots? Like 30-9 or something in the last.
It was a huge discrepancy.
Half of the game. But you're right, they need support staff. It can't just be Celebrini, McKinnon, McDavid, and then the other guys killing time because the depth of the U.S. is no joke, man. No joke. They've got 4 strong, and you're right. We've got in Canada the 3 best players, but I would argue
you're
US
waiting for guys like Hagel has not done anything in the tournament yet.
Quiet.
Like he's done
Very
nothing.
quiet.
Reinhardt on the power play, big goal today, but 5-on-5 nothing. Your Horvat kind of just there. It's in your.
There's a lot
Sid.
of guys that are just there, and then there's no Sid.
Like that. It is going to be a challenge when you get to the gold.
Do you think 87 jumps over the boards on Sunday?
I'm not convinced at all, man. I'm really not. Like the Morrissey thing is an example. It's always, he's right there. He's right there. Didn't play again. I just think it's, as I said yesterday, I don't think it's them being misleading or anything. It's that they want to give him the opportunity to try it. But I'd be very surprised if Crosby played on Sunday. I really would. It looked like a bad injury, man. It looked like a really bad injury. And I hope he does. I mean, they missed him today. It was weird. Like, he's been at the forefront for 16 years.
It's the face of it, right?
The face of it, and it's the first game he's missed. He plays 2010, 14, 16, World, Four Nations, group stage, quarters. It's weird, just not having him. And he wasn't there today, and they could have used him. In the end, it worked without him. But we'll see. I'm obviously knocking on wood. The whole country is. Everyone's hoping it's going to happen. Yeah. But we'll see. All right, we've got Pierre coming up. Pierre's in the rink covering this USA game, so we'll catch up with him for a few moments, just get his take on what's going on with this game, what he thought of Canada, the aftermath of what was just a crazy semifinal. Will not be a game anyone's going to forget anytime soon. Full breakdown on that. Teemu, Selanne, we think we're going to catch up with Teemu. We're going to have to mix in a couple of maybe Dear Hazy Bees on how it works on Sunday morning, right? Like, there's a lot going on in the country. What are we doing Sunday morning? I saw Doug Ford already announced the premier that they're opening up booze at 6 a.m. in the province. I love that
awesome.
play.
I mean, what do you do if you go out Saturday night? You just keep it going, or do you
let it fly? You got to let it fly.
Great
keep it tame Saturday night, and then you start early. You get up early and you go at it. I don't know, man.
You are a zombie if that game goes to overtime, though. If you've been out all night and it's 10:30 and it's light outside, you know how depressing that feeling is?
And you're guzzling vodkas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got a few goon buddies that can do it, though.
I used to. 20 years ago, I could have done it.
Yeah, not at 45
I'm not doing it now.
Yeah, exactly.
No chance. That would actually be a funny live stream. The three of us trying to stay up all night to get to the game.
Saturday night till
just Saturday night. Just trying to find a way to get there. And I think we'd all tap out probably before midnight. Yeah. But anyway, Pierre coming up, Teemu coming up, Best Bets coming up. We'll continue to react.
Coming on.
I think Teemu's coming on. I think we're going to catch up with Teemu. We got to let him give an opportunity to have the floor here. Teemu Selanne's an all-time great.
We love Teemu too.
Yeah,
so.
And he's going to pump the tires of Canada. How can you not? How can you not?
You're just waiting for what he has to say.
He lived in Winnipeg, man. The guy scored 78 goals.
76 goals.
76
as a Winnipeg Jet.
Yeah.
All right, OverDrive continues. TSN app and up on YouTube Live.
With Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
My bad habits lead to late nights and in alone conversations.
Just got to send out a little flyer to everyone at TSN, all my fellow colleagues. The hoodie is not at my house. That's it.
Okay.
I've had multiple people say it got dropped off, and I'm like, no, it didn't.
I think we've gone through this before. I feel like you give people the wrong address. Like, I have no idea. I feel like you live at parts unknown. Like, you live in a general area.
I will say one thing.
Yes.
There's another guy who lives in the middle of the city. We have the same street name, and one is, I think, Crescent and one is Drive or something.
Yes.
And we're buddies because I get a bunch of his stuff. I almost did him dirty because he got a real nice Christmas basket loaded like high-end chocolates and all. Like, this guy's rich. Like, he's loaded. He's a great guy. And this basket was done up real nice. And it just, wasn't really looking. And just as I was about to like get into it, wrong wasn't my name. And I'm like, do I bring it?
Yeah,
and I did the right
that one. Dude, it's not your fault. You know,
it's not my fault. That thing was dropped off, and it looked delicious.
Yeah,
very high-end Christmas
That's probably
basket.
what happened. It went to Avenue instead of Street or something like that.
Jeff with a G is wearing your hoodie right now. Geoff O'Neill is wearing your
I trekked
hoodie.
through the city, and I knocked on his door, and I said, we have the same address, pal. And he's done the same to me. He showed up at my house. We've become buddies.
That's awesome.
That's kind of an interesting story. Yeah,
mail buddies.
It's weird how mail can play that way. Like, I'm not trying to top this story, but I bought this house from a guy who was pretty high up in sports, and he used to get, he still to this day would get like Christmas cards from like Masai Ujiri and like, and I'm like, thanks, Masai.
You just change it to Brian Adams.
I'm like, this is great. Like Masai, if
Masai.
only he knew it was coming to me, he'd probably be like, cancel the whole thing.
Wow.
But yeah, it's still coming. Like it's just forever, and it's whoever's on his staff is just like, yeah, send it out. There's probably 2,000 people in the city that get these cards. But
I had to make a phone
fun.
call today. I need to speak to PK. If anybody knows how to get a hold of PK Subban, I don't know. Maybe he's mad at me or something because he doesn't answer 5 different phone numbers. I called one of them, and this lady answered, and I said, I'm guessing this isn't PK Subban. And she said, no, but I have thousands of people that call me a month and ask for PK Subban, and I have his old number, and it's the most annoying
that's
thing
tough.
in the world.
That would
is
be really tough.
Yeah, to have a.
That's the thing
like
about these celebrities that change their number all the time. Someone's going to get that number. You know, like they let the number sit for a year or whatever, and then someone else picks it up, and it's such a jam job.
I would get rid of it immediately. She said thousands of people a month call and say, "Where's PK Subban?"
PK's a star. Like, where's the threshold though, where like you know, like PK, absolutely an old number. They'd have to let it sit for a couple of years or more. But you're like, there's people that think they're famous and not that famous. What's the
Right.
threshold where it's like, nah,
That's
3
a good
months, we'll give
question.
that number back.
We might need
You know
help
what I-
establishing that because where is the threshold? We're like, no, dude, we gave your number out immediately. Like it went
the
right
next
back
day,
into
it
the
went
cycle.
right back into circulation. Yes.
Yeah.
We did
Send
not
us some
accept-
hockey players' names where you don't meet the threshold. Like, don't be rude about it, but it's like
Well,
you could give the number away immediately.
Right back into circulation. I could
So
tell
Freddie
you,
to
Teemu
go- Freddie to
Selanne
go-
wouldn't be one of those guys.
No, Teemu
No.
Selanne he's a treasure. He's a national treasure in Finland for sure.
Oh yeah.
But every player that played with him loved him. And did you see Prongs's tweet today? Because he took a shot at Teemu, like because Teemu was hitting him from behind.
Yeah.
Prong still talks about it. His nose got caught in between the glass, and it ripped.
I'm sure
some of the skin off.
Teemu loved Prongs chiming in on his pissed off tweet. You know, Teemu, you know how it goes. I would have been like, oh,
Here we go.
Yeah.
That just
I know.
elevates it so much more.
God.
I
And
saw
like
that.
it's like Pronger hasn't buried people from behind at times throughout his career.
Exactly. He was suspended 9 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Prongs threw the King Daddy topper right at the end of the tweet. He was like, that's what happens when you sit around for 30 minutes and you don't have any pressure. It's bound to happen. I was like, oh, what a dick tweet that is.
He's 100% right, though.
I know,
Canada was
dude.
all over Finland, like the last half of the game. And, you know, eventually the cream rises to the top, I guess, but it was close. And, you know, the Binnington angle didn't factor in much today. I thought both goals, you know, they were nice goals.
Yeah,
And if you give up 2, that's all I could ask for out of a goalie. Like, give up 2, don't give up a third. If we can't get to 3 with this team, you're in trouble. But I was worried, like when it was 2-0, 2-1, like, man, this is when he's going to give up a goal where you say, I knew it. Like there's this weird kind of mentality in Canada where we're all guilty of it because we all have our opinions and we all think we know how the team should be made up. And I noticed it when they're down 2-0, a lot of people. This is why Bedard should have been there. This is why Schaefer should have been there. Where's Bouchard? How do you not have Chychrun? You know, that was coming out. Like Canadians waiting to pounce, and then they win, and those tweets, I don't know, do they get deleted or whatever? And Binnington's at the top of that. You know, they're in the gold medal game. He has played well, and he's made big saves. If they lose on Sunday, and the Americans, I think, are up 3-0 or 4-0 right now. So it looks like we're trending towards what we always believed it was going to be.
Right.
Even if they lose, 2-1, 3-2, the anti-Binnington crowd is going to almost puff their chest out with a Canadian passport, which I find somewhat unsettling. I mean, it's like you're waiting for failure so you can pounce and
But I
talk
don't
about
understand, Brian, like – the alternative is Logan Thompson, who's statistically been unbelievable, but there's no track record.
Right.
At least we have a track record with Jordan Binnington. And at some point, yes, if he has an off game on Sunday, so be it. But you know what? The guy at the other end has won a Hart Trophy, he's won a couple Vezinas, but he hasn't gone deep in the playoffs. He hasn't, won a Stanley Cup. He hasn't delivered a gold medal or anything like that for the
Hellebuck, you're
Americans. So
saying.
I'm talking Connor Hellebuck, who I love as a goaltender. But you're right. It's it's the narrative. Eventually, if somebody fails, you go, see, I told you so. Well, after how many times? Like, I want.
That's going to be if it's Canada-U.S., it'll be a fascinating, tension matchup to see which goalie flinches first. Man, that will be fascinating to watch.
And this is what I want. Joe from the Bridge brought up an interesting point, before the game, the mentality of Canadians. If you could choose who they're playing in the gold medal game, Slovakia or the United States, I think I can understand the case for Slovakia because you'd feel much better about them winning the game, clearly. I mean, yes. Slovakia is kind of getting pumped right now by the U.S. Great story, good for them. They're not at the same level.
No.
But I want to see Canada-U.S. I'm dying for it. We got it at the Four Nations. For 12 months we've been waiting for it. I think it's the appropriate script. It's the appropriate ending. It's the way it's supposed to
for
be. It's
you,
the two best teams. Yes, no, I get it. And I understand, it
for the
majority,
let's call it the majority of hockey fans, especially in this country.
Yes, and right. I think around the world, like in Slovakia, obviously they want their team to win, and in Finland they wanted their team to win. But if you're just an objective hockey fan, Canada, USA right now,
it's the two best hockey countries.
By a mile.
I'm sorry,
by a mile.
I'm sorry. Well, I mean Sweden and Finland,
very
there,
good,
but
very good
and
team.
Russia,
and Russia,
honestly,
very good program.
Yes.
But Canada
right
and the U.S., I do believe, stand taller than those two nations. I think that goes without saying. And the animosity's there and the build-up, and we just saw with the women's game yesterday. And I don't want to be in a position, and I never have been as a Canadian my whole life, where I've run from, the challenge, so to speak. And I'm saying that as a fan. I'm not on the ice. But I don't want to live in a world where I'm like, give me the easy choice. We're Canada, man. Come get some. Come get some. And let's see how it plays out on Sunday, because it's going to likely be the Americans here. And they've been battle-tested, not today necessarily. They were a couple of days ago. They had to fight it out against Sweden, go to overtime.
Yeah, went into overtime. And those countries were good too. But you look at it, I think this is how everybody envisioned it. And I think at the starting of the tournament, I said this before, I think Billy Guerin tried to build his team against a team that would compete against Canada. The actual matchup.
Mm-hmm. Understanding, Jamie, that he already basically had the team and they were one shot away. And I think that were people that were looking for Cole Caulfields and different players. Billy understood, they were one shot away. There did not need to be drastic changes, especially when you're adding a player like Quinn Hughes that wasn't playing in the Four Nations.
Right, and Cole Caulfield and Kyle Connor doesn't get ice time. You're looking at it and going, geez, what? But this is how they built their team. This is how they're going to deploy their players. But right now, they're up 4-0 with close to the end of the second period. It's going to be Canada-U.S. on Sunday, and so be it.
Can't wait.
Now let's see if Sid shows up. Let's see. I thought McDavid had ridiculous pass. McDavid, that pass to McKinnon, that saucer on the power play, that is elite of elite.
Yep.
But I still think McDavid, he might go off in this gold medal game. This is his opportunity, right?
This is what he's been waiting for, And listen, Finland, I thought early in the game we all know what the game plan is. Easier said than done. But slow him down, get him to stop at the blue line, because if he's flying with or without the puck, you're in trouble. And Finland did a pretty good job of that. The Americans are going to try, but I'm with you. I think McKinnon, even though he's not at 100%, I do wonder about the lines today if this is what starts on Sunday. Do you just go McDavid, McKinnon, Celebrini? I think they found something. Bennett, Marchand, and Wilson. That's an American game line for me.
Right.
Those guys play, and they play 13, 14 minutes, and they hit everyone, and the Americans also will look at them differently, in my opinion, because they'll understand what those three represent. It's not that the Finns wouldn't, but I think the American defense would be okay, we got to deal with these three lunatics. You're aware of it. You're Quinn Hughes, and you've got Tom Wilson chasing you down. That's something you're very aware of.
They could be problematic if they're on their game and physical and hitting, but they just cannot take a stupid penalty like that.
Big time.
And I'm sure Sam Bennett was made aware. It's never again. We can't do it. You're going to cost us a gold medal if that happens again.
Yeah, can't do it on Sunday for sure.
You know who scares me now? Remind me, was Tage Thompson on the Four Nations?
No, he wasn't.
He's an X factor. He scares the hell out of me.
He's got 2 points today, I believe.
No, I know, but watching him, I've always thought, and this is a guy who's, I believe, has scored 50 goals in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought, like, if this guy puts something together, like he's the full package, he's huge, he can skate, he can rip the puck as hard as anybody, harder than pretty much everybody. Like, that's a guy who is terrifying. As a goalie, he's terrifying.
Jamie, and the scary thing for me about that guy is, and this is just my own personal opinion, I don't even think he's a centerman. I think he's a big winger. If he played with like a very gifted, skilled centerman that could make plays,
get him the puck,
oh my God! Like he plays center. I don't think playing center is his best position, his best fit. But I've said that about Tim Stützle too, and people think I'm nuts. So maybe I just am nuts.
I think what it is you got to. They place him in situations where, what they have for depth or whatever. But you're right.
Yeah, I get it. But you put that guy with an elite centerman, watch out.
Well, that's what's happening here, right?
Like that's what I'm thinking. You put him with an Eichel or something like that.
He's playing with Larkin, I believe it is.
Okay,
but
so
I mean, he's on the wing, and I think that's why it's working for him. All right, so we'll continue to look back on the win today. 3-2, Canada over Finland. McKinnon from McDavid and from Celebrini. I think Celebrini was in on that game sheet too, which is great. With 35 seconds to go, Canada storms back. They were down 2-0. They're off to the gold medal game. Looks like the Americans will be who they're playing. We'll start looking ahead to that as well. Teemu Selanne coming up. Best Bets coming up. OverDrive continues. YouTube Live.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
On a Friday, brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza.
I just want to say one thing before we bring in this fine gentleman. Not enough has been spoken about how good he looks with a quarter zip and a blazer.
Phenomenal. He is crushing Milan. Crushing Milan.
He should have grown a little mustache.
Well, he always has the goatee going usually, but you're right. Just mustache for the gold medal game.
And started blowing darts.
Here he is.
That would have.
Here he is. Let's bring him in, and let's see if we can establish that. Pierre LeBrun. Pierre, will you go mustache only on Sunday?
And blow darts.
No. The old gray hair goatee stays on, boys. I'm not changing that look. After, I don't know. I think I grew my first goatee. I was 8. But anyway, yeah.
Well, are you willing to say it's Canada-U.S. on Sunday, considering the Americans are up 5-0?
Yeah, this game's over for sure. And Slovakia's just never had a foothold here. Right from the outset, they looked nervous and disjointed, and honestly, did not look like the team at all that had been the darlings of this tournament. So pretty disappointing semifinal. But of course, that's happening because we're playing a team that, this is the best Team USA roster ever assembled. They have so much depth. This is going to be quite a challenge for Team Canada boys on Sunday. In particular, because at times, I think you saw it, especially in the Czech game on Wednesday, Canada's had some defensive breakdowns. That's going to be really, really, tested on Sunday here. But I'll say this after, talking to Team Canada's players here after the game, they feel they can handle almost any situation now after coming back twice in terms of their resiliency and their belief. A couple of guys were saying they were down 2-0, and it was so calm on the bench. They just talked about sticking with it, and it's not easy to do when it looks like your gold medal dreams may end.
So, Pierre, if you had to pinpoint one thing that would be a concern for Team Canada, their roster-wise or anything like that, come Sunday against the Americans, what would it be? Is it just the obvious, the low-hanging fruit, the goaltender? Is it the D depth, or is Sid?
Is Sid going to play?
Sid, the health of the group.
Yeah.
Like, what is it?
Yeah, Noodles. I start with Sidney Crosby. They don't have the same depth without him in the lineup. I know that's maybe pointing out the obvious, but the idea coming into this tournament was to go 1-2-3, three-headed monster down the middle with McDavid, with Crosby, and with McKinnon. And now a couple of things have happened. Crosby's injured. He's going to try to give it a go on Sunday, but John Cooper made it really clear to us yesterday. They're not going to put him in harm's way. everyone has to sign off on this, from the doctors. I mean, Cal Dubas is here as assistant GM of Team Canada, is NHL GM. Pat Brisson, his longtime agent, is here trying to get him all the help he can. So he's surrounded by, his people in making this decision. He's going to try. I think he's going to try and find a way to play, but I'm not 100% ready to tell you that's going to happen. So what's happened with him out of the lineup is they've really gone away from the three-headed monster. It's also because Nathan McKinnon is not 100%. We don't know what he's dealing with, but
I was going to say, do you guys don't know, Pierre, what's up with him? Because he looks a little bit off. I know he had a big goal.
Yeah. No, he had a big goal, and honestly did some great work on that power play goal if you rewind it. I mean, he won a couple of puck battles along the wall that kept that play alive that ended up back on his stick for the winning goal. But he's not 100%. So McKinnon's not 100%. Crosby's injured. It's put all kinds of pressure on Connor McDavid to carry the load. And, my concern for Canada against the U.S. on Sunday is, the U.S. is littered with offensive talent on all four of their lines, that Canada's going to go in a little top-heavy against that, which might leave them exposed. Now, I will say this. Putting together Tom Wilson with Sam Bennett and Brad Marchand today, something that John Cooper said he was surprised he waited this long to do, because it's something he had talked about before the tournament, but they finally got to it today midway through the game. That could be a really important line against Team USA, because I'm telling you, that line today softened up the Finnish defense. They started forechecking and bang and hitting everything in sight, and that changed the game. It gave them momentum with Finnish blue liners looking over their shoulder. And they're going to need that against Team USA, because that blue line is unreal for Team USA. They're going to have to try and sop up that U.S. defense.
It's going to be a fascinating goaltender matchup, Pierre? Like, it's who can flinch first of guys that, I mean, Binnington's got the clutch gene. He gets it done in big moments. But Hellebuck, it's just going to be a real fascinating matchup in net, to see who can kind of flinch first here.
Well, and a year ago at Four Nations, it was one of the deciding factors. Jordan Binnington outplayed Connor Hellebuck, plain and simple. I mean that's a game that the U.S. had better looks and great A's in overtime especially, but Jordan Binnington shut the door, and Connor Hellebuck led in the goal by McDavid. So we'll see if that matters at all for today. But I will tell you this much. One guy that wasn't at Four Nations was Tom Wilson, and when I asked him today after the game if the U.S. were going to beat Slovakia, how excited he was to be in this matchup after having to watch it on TV a year ago. If I could describe the smile from one ear to the other that was on his face, he is so jacked up to be in that game Sunday and to throw his body around. And I will share this, too. Wilson said that he was mad at himself for laying off some hits that were there in the Wednesday's quarterfinal against Czechia, because he was so scared to take a penalty that he didn't play his normal game. And he said today, heck with it. He went back to his game, and he was a real physical force. So they'll need that from him on Sunday.
Love it. Can't wait for it. Can't wait to see the look on SportsCenter, and we're holding our breath over here on Sunday, Pierre. Change something up for us in the gold medal game. Thanks, buddy. Enjoy the third.
Right on. Okay, guys, thanks for having me on. Look forward to seeing you guys back in town.
You got it. Pierre LeBrun, our TSN Hockey Insider, live from Milan. Yeah, it's a scenario where this is the IOC, it's the IHF. It's such an important game, so you got to be careful. But I want to believe Tom Wilson can breathe, Brady Tkachuk can breathe. And, the big boys on Sunday are going to play it like an NHL game. I wish you could. I wish they could just implement NHL rules for Sunday. Hit, scrum.
Oh, it's going to be an NHL game on Sunday. I'm sure the refs are going to be all NHL refs, and it's going to be like, boys, this is prison rules, and this is an NHL Stanley Cup playoff game, and the team that grinds it out the most is going to win.
Would they think out loud and have one American ref, one Canadian ref type of thing?
I'd have two Finnish guys.
Ooh, but then you're not getting
what?
Oh. You're not getting that with two Finnish guys.
Get two Swedes or something.
Then you're getting.
Then I guess it's not.
Then you're getting European rules and a guy with a camera on his helmet skating around, and I don't. You need NHL refs that are.
You know what? At the end of the day, Billy McCreary was Canadian. He had every big game. It didn't matter. Olympics, Canada. Put the best ref on the ice, and that should be the end of it.
And these refs are really good. So it doesn't matter if they're Canadian or American. I'm just saying, if you want Don't want to hear any complaining about anything. You got to make sure going in that the field is level, I guess we'll call it, you know?
Yeah, I'm conflicted because you're right. Like, I was surprised. Again, 2 Canadian refs. Like, I was surprised they allowed that, considering.
But the refs said they had integrity. It's a tough call.
I get it, Noodles, but, they're still Canadian. It's the optics more than anything. I'm not saying they didn't call a good game or anything. It's the optics that you open the door to finish people saying, what's going on here? Yeah. Or if it was the opposite way and Canada was on the wrong side of it, people would be thinking the same.
Agreed.
But I think a Canadian, an American, or I want to see it feel like the Stanley Cup playoffs. I know it's not, and it may not get to that point, but allow them to determine it. Let the players play. Let it get heavy, because it's going to be. It's going to be the most, as emotional as you could ever get. And I don't want to get caught up in the moment, because 2010 was emotional, 2002 was emotional. There's been emotion throughout history of hockey, but these guys have been chomping at the bit. They have never had this opportunity, best on best, like this, and this is their chance. All right, hour 2 coming up. We're charging towards the gold medal game. It looks like the Americans, they're beating up on Slovakia. Canada, U.S., 8 a.m. Sunday. We'll look ahead to that. Keep looking back on the game today. I got a little list for you guys. Teemu, I think we might get Teemu on, your boy.
And I have an update on my hoodie.
On your hoodie. I love it. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 5.
It's Mail It In Friday.
The plant called and said if you don't come in tomorrow, don't bother coming in Monday.
Woohoo! 4-day weekend.
This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Hour 2 OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you more ways to play your games, your ways. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles McLennan. We got a big hour here. We got Best Bets coming up, Teemu coming up. It's our 10th anniversary as OverDrive in the afternoon. Yes, we were on Leafs Lunch prior to that, but
we got hoodies for.
We got hoodies. 2 of us have hoodies.
And look, here's your update. Exactly what I said. It got sent to the wrong address. It's at my buddy's house.
You're
in the
kidding
middle of
me.
this.
So
No,
instead of
I'm dead
Avenue,
serious.
it went to Street or vice versa.
Yes.
That's crazy, man. Can we send a message to the postal service or something and try to get this figured out? Like, how do we not have, like Noodles said last hour, there's something about you, dude.
Yeah.
How is your address not in the system properly?
It's a van down by the river. That's what it is. I'm telling you.
Here's the thing. It is in the system properly, you idiot. The mail guy just goes to the wrong address. Because when I get the package back, it says Crescent, but it goes to Avenue.
Crazy. Newman is your postman.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it's me every time. It's like I fly to Minnesota one-way, first-class ticket. My luggage doesn't get off. How does that happen on a one-way first-class flight? My luggage didn't make it? Really? That's impossible.
Wow. It's unfortunate because these hoodies they're incredibly comfortable.
They are
Great.
very
Great.
comfortable.
Very stylish.
Very. And I've had people reach out saying, how do we get them? How do we get them? We'll figure it out. We'll let everybody know because I'm not sure of the process.
Here's a note to our superior. We want 20 to 30 each in all different sizes for people bothering us for them.
Well,
because somehow they think that we're just they're popping up and under our porches like a miracle.
You know what? I'm sure they're in the works right now. They're creating an OverDrive pop-up store, and then that's would be
great idea.
Sell merch or whatever.
Great
Who
idea.
knows? But it's not. Listen, you know what we're supposed to do? Wear them and talk hockey and talk sports and have fun. Coming up on 10 years, though, I was watching some of the highlight tapes that the Grappler put out. It's kind of funny. Do you guys remember? Like the treadmill in the studios, that was a lifetime ago. That was the first year, I think.
That was a long time ago.
Both of you on the treadmill.
Yeah.
In the studio. They brought in a treadmill.
That was good stuff, man. That was some of our better stuff. Like we were trying to do basically replicate what it is to be in training camp, I think. It was probably a September show. Fitness testing. It was probably in September, and the Leafs were in camp, and we were thinking we can do that. Yeah. And, we did it. We gave it a shot. We might have to bring some of the old bits back. Maybe we can try to mix in a fitness testing next September and bring back.
I think with that, it's a very simple game plan. We put out a poll on our 10-year anniversary. what's the bit that you want to come? Is it me and Al's brother? Resprint. Do it
that
again.
That would win by 100%. If you put the Al's brother and you Olympics back out, like a feelers for it, because I watched the video this afternoon and I was dying laughing again because it brings back the memories. Like, I forget when you watch the start of it, just both of you taking off to start you're wearing jeans or some sort of like.
Oh, I've got like leggings on or something.
3/4 jeans. I don't know what they're called. Like you're wearing.
No, they were sweatpants. They were.
And that was the draft lottery thing, I think. There's a 90-minute video we put up on TSN's YouTube channel. So of those of you wondering, it's up on our Instagram account and TSN's YouTube channel. You can find it 90 minutes, which is
that's almost embarrassing
crazy
for us that we have 90 minutes of idiotic
90 minutes.
Wow.
None of it is opinions.
No.
None of it is like really
None of
deep
it's
chats.
serious.
None of it's serious at all.
There's the constipator. There's Mike Crapper. There's like all sorts of things going on. Like I was watching it. I was dying laughing.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I got to spend some time this weekend doing it.
Yeah.
Up on TSN's YouTube channel, you can find that 90 minutes or 10 years, I guess, kind of edited down to 90 minutes. And
Did one of my faves make it, boys? Lieutenant Dan?
Wow.
Lieutenant Dan.
I think that was Leafs lunch early.
And
I think that was 2013. I don't think we were in the afternoon for that one.
And I think they tried to burn that out of the system. I don't know if that's like,
no video of that one.
There's no video.
We weren't on
of that.
TV at that point. That was a dark studio, and we were goofing around about the Leafs and how they were playing.
They're just limping to the finish line.
Well, we'll keep that. We'll keep that as an inside joke. But I can remember 10, 12 years ago, we had some serious laughs over that one and even replaying it a couple hours after.
One of the all-time great lines. Yeah, it was an all-time great. We're streaming live on YouTube Live, obviously, right now. So if you can't get to TSN 5 or you're not listening, in the car or whatever, you can always watch us live during the show on TSN's YouTube channel. There's us doing some workout. You can see that. There's Steph. Look at Steph emceeing the whole thing. These are actually Leafs lunch clips. So there you go. Maybe Lieutenant Dan did actually make it.
So, yeah, that's Leaf lunch clips?
That's a long time ago, but it's got to be video
sit-ups.
stuff.
I think she's standing on your feet. There's running on the treadmill.
Not bad with the headband. And
yeah, the headband. And
what's
honestly,
that TaylorMade bag in the back? What would that be, like an M2 or something? That's way back, those clubs.
That's a long time ago,
actually,
man.
One of my favorite moments, it was Leaf lunch, was the chicken wing eating episode.
I hate that episode because I was a disaster. Dude, I was 280 in that video.
Dude, there's a meme out there. There's a guy that posts it all the time. Whenever something is about to happen, there's a still pic of you where like you're in
My
that.
My mouth is open.
No, you're looking around a corner like this, and somebody posts that all the time.
I know.
You look like a monster who's waiting for the pizza delivery guy at the front door, and you're like,
it's the greatest pic.
It is.
I
Looking
am
out
a
the
monster.
window.
I'm 280. I'm in a T-shirt that looks like it's $3. Like you got to go back and look at the T-shirt. It's the worst T-shirt
Look at this.
you've ever seen.
Dumb and Dumber.
That's
when
right.
we were going to Vegas. Man.
We were going to Vegas. We had the outfits.
Yeah, there's so much good stuff in this. So you got to find it. You can go find it on YouTube. You can find it on TSN's YouTube channel, or you can find it on Instagram, Twitter. There's best up stuff up there, or best of stuff up there. So there's a lot of it. And we've got these hoodies. We'll tell you more about that a little bit later in the hour. Teemu's coming up. Canada winning today in what was a wild game. And I mentioned it yesterday. And I guess this is the end of it because Sunday, it's a weekend, it's in the morning. But it was another experience that incredibly unique. Empty house, midday, midweek. I guess it's the end of the week. But I'm on my own. I'm sure a lot of people are doing this throughout the country if you're not at work or at school or whatever. But I was sitting at home yelling and screaming, and no one's around. It was like a surreal kind of experience that you can only really get with the Olympics. And it was an amazing sweat, but Canada found a way to get a win. I have another 5-pack. I got a list here if you guys want me to run through it.
Yeah,
fire it up.
Okay, just to kind of recap what I learned today. You guys can tell me if you feel the same way or not. But I got a 5-pack based on the game today. Canada beating Finland 3-2, and they're off to the gold medal game. And, again, the Americans appear to be waiting for them. They're beating up on Slovakia right now. So Canada-U.S. on Sunday. Number 5, what I learned today, that Teemu Selanne is on Twitter. I learned that Teemu is on Twitter. I was not aware of that. But Teemu not happy, and I'm sure the whole country of Finland not happy, because if you missed it, Nathan MacKinnon with 2:30 left sold a high stick. It was a high stick. If you break down the tape, but he went DiCaprio on this. Like, he went kind of Kramer and Newman. Yeah. Remember in that, the JFK
the Giants, or the magical spit or whatever
the
in the
magic
eye?
spit from Keith Hernandez.
Yeah.
Like, he sold it. And, of course, MacKinnon sells it, draws the penalty. MacKinnon ends it. And Teemu Selanne not happy. He popped off on Twitter, not happy with the refs, the whole
And go
thing.
ahead, people. I told you, find the goal in live real time and watch the ref. His arm does not go up until he hears the crowd.
He hesitated for sure.
If you watch enough hockey, you will see enough crowd influence calls, because the ref doesn't see it, and then it's all you hear is, oh, and then the arm goes up. It's just like clockwork. You see it all the time if you watch games.
Is this anti-Canadian, us kind of selling? It's not a dive. You know, like we've always been, we don't dive, we stand. Don Cherry would be like, what is this? We don't do that. Like, I don't think, like, it wasn't
not
a dive,
but I just don't think, like we talked about, blood and guts, Stanley Cup, like everything's on the line with a couple minutes left. You typically don't call that. Mm-hmm. That's my only point.
Then let me ask you this. If you don't call it, or would you call it and say that was an embellishment too? And
you know what my philosophy is, Jamie, and I'm not Billy McCreary, and I don't know what Billy McCreary's philosophy is. With 2 or 3 minutes left in a really important game, if you take away somebody in a prime scoring chance, I'm calling a penalty. If you're really egregious and knock somebody out with an elbow, I'm calling a penalty. I'm not calling a riding up stick that clips you on the nose. I'm just not doing it with the stakes that high. That would be my philosophy. But I don't know. The refs saw it different,
listen,
man.
If the roles were reversed, people would be going nuts. As I said earlier, you know, it was a different game, but there were 6 guys on the ice with Czechia, and Canada almost got burned by bad officiating. In the end, Finland still could have stopped them on the power play. You know, Saros, I don't know how you felt about that goal. It was a great play by McDavid.
Yeah, you know, I didn't think he was tired on the play. He was late a little bit, and it was a great play, but he'd made a couple big saves earlier on that, because McDavid was circling the house and threw it to the Draisaitl spot in the one-timer, and he made a good pad save coming across. Like, I can't lay anything at UC Saros' feet. I thought he gave them a chance. Like, that game looks to me like 4 or 5-2 if he doesn't make a couple big saves, because Marner would have squared on that little dance by Marner, and he fired a blocker side. It was a great save by Saros. But yes, it was a little bit of a squeaker, like a moldy one, right between the skate and the post. But good on MacKinnon. He found the spot, and McDavid sold everything he was doing, because everybody thought he was going back to Makar for the one-timer, and then he rolled his wrist saucer through the seam for MacKinnon.
Beautiful.
Like, that's a hell of a play.
Number 4 on what I learned today, depth scoring is mandatory. I think I knew that, but we talked about getting multiple lines going. That's more about pressure and keeping some of the consistency going and the momentum going. But it was Suzuki into Marner into Reinhart into Theodore before MacKinnon scored that goal. Like, the previous big 4 were depth players.
Right.
Reinhart has not done anything really in this tournament before he had a great tip. Suzuki,
dude, there's just so many guys, Brian, 5-on-5, they're just not generating, man. They're not doing it.
You can't, again, you're right. I mean, I guess that's what I'm pointing to. Like, you can bank on MacKinnon. McDavid's going to get his. Celebrini's going to get his. But I think if you're going to beat the Americans, someone else is going to have to score. You're going to have to get a goal or two from a Hagel's got to arrive. Horvat's got to do
rip
something.
One home. Yeah.
Someone else has got to score, because that has happened the last 2 games when they have sweated it out. They needed those depth goals. They're mandatory. It has to happen.
No, I agree. But it's a moment now. Whatever happens on Sunday, if Canada wins, there will be a moment, like for somebody's career, somebody's, a big moment, whether it's, defining moment, a huge save. Like, I think back to Binnington's save on Austin Matthews in the playoffs. 4 Nations, right? That was a moment, right?
Yep.
We just talked about Mitch Marner's moment, last game in overtime, like previous. And if they're going to win on Sunday, there'll be somebody. It might just be Connor McDavid's moment. It might be Nate McKinnon's moment, or, like I say, it'll be a Brandon Hagel goal that is a defining moment that people will remember. The Paul Henderson goal type of thing. That's what
a
we're
depth
looking
player,
for.
exactly.
Yeah.
Most famous goal ever is a depth player.
Yeah.
Number 3, what I learned, the line of Bennett, Marchand, Wilson, Pops, and I'd love to see it in the NHL. It would be my favorite line. Maybe
Do you
ever.
think they could play one game in the National Hockey League with all 3 taking 0 penalties?
Tough. Like on an off night, probably.
Over 82 games, they could find one. But
Yeah.
I think, and in the playoffs, I think they can't because they're so crafty. I know Bennett took one, and it was a stupid one, and it cost them today. But I thought that line got cooking. If I'm John Cooper, I'm leaving it. I'm not going back to Wilson with Celebrini and McDavid. Just start McKinnon with those guys and look at them and say, guys, you're playing 22, 23 minutes tonight. I think you go Bennett, Marchand, Wilson against the Americans. And I play them, and I tell them to do exactly what they would do if we were in North America, if we were in the NHL.
Crazy comment right here, but the guy took a really stupid penalty, but he shows that he is just not pissing around, and he will
Yeah.
Yeah.
like he wants to kill people out
He's
there.
a winner, man.
Yeah, he's a winner. Like
Sam
he just,
Bennett.
as dumb as that penalty was, he is just like,
That's-
I'll crush anything in my sight. I don't care. I'm here to win.
That's why
Which
I
is
said,
respected, but it's also got to be under control.
That's what I said. He's a threat, and that's the thing. When Tom Wilson's on the ice and Sam Bennett's on the ice, just in the NHL, people are aware when those guys are on the ice. He's a threat, and Team USA will know when Sam Bennett's on the ice. And it doesn't matter who, he'll take a chunk of a teammate. Like we saw that. Marchand was chirping at Mikkola there or whatever.
Totally.
Like you could see that.
Lindell, they're all out there.
Yeah.
Ristolainen. And listen, Matthew Tkachuk is waiting on Sunday. And that's, it's not the biggest game of his life because, they've won 2 cups and the cups are what they are.
Well,
but
my buddy just texted me, Brian. He said if they throw out Eichel and Tkachuk, don't you throw out McDavid with Wilson and Bennett on the left and say let's party off the start here, or you don't want to do that?
I don't know. I mean, we talked about that yesterday. Do you throw McDavid into that, or do you try to keep that line away? I mean, Cooper's been coaching his ass off. Like he's been moving pieces
I just
around.
think to start the game, it would be amazing theater.
It would be. I might start the Bennett line with Marchand and Wilson against that line and say, let's just drop the puck and see what you got. And if you can get Eichel, get him. If you can get Hughes, get him. Werenski, get him. It's easier said than done. But, those guys, they're going to be ready to fight. Like, they're going to be ready to play and play heavy and get on a forecheck. And it's going to be mandatory that Canada does that. That's the Americans' plan. You know that. They're going to look at this defense and say, we got to lean on these guys.
Well, that's what concerns me slightly is, once you get past Makar and Taves, like it looks different, man.
Yeah,
like
it's thinner.
Parayko's thin. Like I like him, but Parayko isn't the perennial all-star, right? Like you look at over on USA, they've got a 4-pack that is as good as anybody.
Yep. That's
And
McAvoy on the other side.
Right, on the back end, right? It's Anderson and Werenski and Quinn Hughes. But that's where I would be chipping and chasing into those corners and see if those guys can move the puck out. Because that'll be the only thing that concerns me for Team Canada is you need puck movers. You need to get that puck to the talented forwards. And if the U.S. tries to lean on them a little bit, like McDavid had a beautiful pass through the seam. Was it Sanheim that could have walked right to the net? And he took himself to the corner. Like all I could think
Jay,
of. And
it's so hard to get shy. But the one thing is like.
Yeah,
it's so obvious in this. Like it's guys do such a good. Like they're told when that puck goes to the point, or basically anyone's going to shoot the puck. There is 3 different levels of blocking. Like there's
3 layers. Yeah,
it is so hard to get a shot on net off of a high to low play, or just if you get a broken cycle play, maybe you can break free and get some ice. But if you're going like a standard pass out to the D and the D kind of drags it across. There is 3 different phases of blocking where it's like it's almost impossible to get a shot through.
Yeah,
but you got to find a way.
Well, that's the one thing. You're right. Like as a defenseman, you have to be creative because it isn't just back to the point. You got to get your shot through. But that one where I think you have to attack middle ice, and Sanheim I think found himself in a spot where it's like, hey, this is unique because there was kind of a lane to the net, and he didn't take it. And I thought to myself, that's
not how you're wired. It's not how you're wired, right?
But that's you, against the U.S., you're going to have to attack middle ice if it's there for you. That's,
you're right.
That's my point, right?
So we'll see how the lines play out. But I would, if I'm Cooper, I'm keeping that Bennett line together. And I'm playing them, and I'm playing them a fair amount, and I'm trusting them to be heavy and go start the fight. Number 2, what I learned today, Canada's 3-2 win over Finland, is that it feels strange without Sidney Crosby. It was weird watching the best on best play without him. Like we haven't. The last time was in 2006. It's been 20 years since the last time he wasn't right in the middle of everything. Yeah. And if he's not going to play on Sunday, we don't have that answer yet. But if he's not going to play, it's a massive shift in the lineup and the way everything plays out because, before with McKinnon maybe not at 100%, you could move him up to that top line and trust Sid. Like Sid's your second line center. Great. Awesome. If Sid's not available, you're playing Suzuki there, who's very good, but he's not Sid. No. Bennett, he's very good, not Sid. Different. Sid's a different beast. And in a game like this, we've seen him do it before. We've seen him twice in a gold medal. If he's not there, it's only Doughty that's been there and done it before. And Doughty's, your sixth defenseman that's going to play a bit, but it's not the same without Crosby.
What an emotional boost, though, if he remember Chara came back in Game 7 with the cage on and
had a broken jaw.
Yeah, and everyone was like, it was just amazing theater once again. So if Sid wheels out there, I can just imagine coming to the rink and Sid's getting his gear on, taping his stick.
87's in the stall, like the jersey's laying
that would
in the stall
just
there.
Jack me up, man. That would jack me up to see Sid taping his stick with a coffee with a look on his face.
Ooh,
wow,
I'm jacked for that. I'm praying it happens for his case too, because this is the last dance, man. It's not likely to be there in 4 years. Maybe in 2 if they play a World Cup or something. But you got Canada, U.S. and he's the captain. He's the man. You're right. The idea of him playing him, it's in Milan. It's a different crowd. It's a different rink. But the idea of just watching him hit the ice would be incredible. And hopefully he's close to 100%. He's not going to be, but can he be 80%? I can live with that. Maybe 70%. I think anything under that for me gets a little bit dicey.
So is it been released what the injury is?
No, it's lower body. It sounded like knee based on what Elliott was saying.
Well, I was going to say, did I not read somewhere that they were talking about a brace, like the word brace came involved?
Yes.
So that would suggest knee, correct?
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to jump on anything.
No,
but
I believe what Friedman was saying was that his understanding is they were trying to workshop a brace or something and, figure out a way to get him out there. I don't know. If you couldn't find it today, how can you find it on Sunday? Can we not fly a brace over there? Can we not courier a hoodie to the O-Dog and a brace to Sid, please, in Milan?
The hoodie, my understanding is the hoodie is on its way.
Well,
it's been
it's been recovered from the other address?
Rerouted. That's what my intel tells me.
Maybe for the last segment, I have it on, boys.
Very positive news. So
nice.
O's hoodie and a knee brace for Sid, all right? And let's not use O's postal service to get that over there.
Exactly.
And the number one thing I learned, McDavid to McKinnon lives for 48 hours. Now, it could live for longer if Canada wins gold, right?
Yeah, you're right. If they don't, man, it disappears.
It dies if they lose on Sunday. And it was such a great play. It was such a great goal. It was so perfect that it was those two guys, because as important as Sid is, and he is remarkably important, he's the captain, the face, this has always been billed as the McDavid-McKinnon show, right?
Yeah.
Like this was them in their prime. You watch what they're doing in the NHL, it's absurd. Like they're the best players in the world, and they're jockeying for position in terms of who's better on any given night. Yeah. And, we all grew up around the same time. Like Gretzky to Lemieux is the most famous, 1-2, I think, in my life. Maybe a Gimlet to Sid, clearly. But the just who those two guys are, Lemieux and Gretzky, it just lives in a different world, Gretzky to Lemieux. And I'm not suggesting this is at that level, because it can't be. It was the semis. That was a championship game. A Gimlet to Sid was a gold medal game. they have to do it again on Sunday, ideally, if you can. It'd be amazing. But it's what the country was waiting for. A massive moment, McDavid to McKinnon. You can't script it any better, but it lives for 48 hours. You got to win on Sunday. And then it lives forever if you do. Or you can top it on Sunday. But if the Americans find a way to win gold on Sunday, it becomes a highlight, but it's looked upon differently.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it's not as memorable because they didn't win. It didn't lead to anything. It led to a silver instead of a gold.
Right.
Right. So
they're there for gold. They're there for gold. All right, there it is. A little 5-pack looking back in the game.
That's a great list.
Little 5-pack.
I think you've been really doing some special stuff with your lists these days.
You've had a good
You like the list?
Iced us out of participating, but it's better when you do them because you're better at them.
Him. He's got the better lists.
That's that's how the shows work, man. The guy that's running the show, he comes up with the lists, and I think they're fantastic.
Well, I appreciate that greatly. We have talked about including everybody, but I do think I'll throw it out. You guys lean into it and add depth to it. I think it works. You guys ever want to do a list, though? You tell me. We'll find a way to
Spoken like
make
a
it
true
work.
Control freak, but very well said.
Yeah, it's an element of that. All right, so Teemu Selanne. I have a feeling we're going to face.
Dude, it sounds like a spoof. Like you've been
I'm telling you,
you've been teeing it all after. It's
the
like
grappler
Teemu
has been talking to Teemu, which terrifies me. Terrifies me that the grappler has been doing that. But we're going to give it a shot. We'll see. If not, then we continue, right? We do a little Dear Hazy B. Mail It In Friday brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you'll get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. I guess on Sunday, Boston Pizza will be open at like 6 a.m., right? You got it. Boston Pizzas throughout the country on Sunday morning.
Watch party. Are there going to be watch parties at 6 a.m.?
Definitely. Has to be. I mean, it's 5 a.m. if you're in Vancouver. Like, if you're in
the
Pacific
saying,
time zone.
Dougie Fresh is saying you could sell booze or, like, restaurants open at 6 a.m.
Well, I guess they go linked together, right? Like, I don't think anything would be open at 6 a.m. normally. So, yeah, I think you can sell booze at 6 or you open at 6. I think that's the plan. That's what Doug Ford announced, which is awesome. We love hearing that.
So BP at 6 a.m.
Oh, that's an establishment on a Sunday morning. That means it's going to be
setting a standard.
There he is, Doug Ford.
But here's the other thing, though, too. Are you doing pizza, beer, and wings at 6 o'clock? Like you're going to have to condition your body. Yes,
you got to commit, man. You got to commit. I think you have to do that. You're right. First period nachos at 8:30 in the morning.
Exactly.
Dude, I had some buddies. When I lived in North Carolina, I had some buddies, and the Yankees would start the season in Japan, and they are at my house at 5 a.m. These are just random dudes that were at the bar, and we were all Yankees fans at the time. And they were like, first game of the season tomorrow, 5 a.m. And I said, if you guys want to come over and watch it, they all brought like coolers, like ready to rock, and I'm like, wow. I was having coffee, like could barely keep my eyes open, and they were ready to rock.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's what we're looking for on Sunday, and you know it's going to happen south of the border too, man. That's coming in the States as well. They'll find a way, I'm sure, to do the same thing. Yeah. All right, OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app.
Now back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Yes, he's a 360 all the way around. Yeah, that's how.
Mail It In Friday brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. I'm getting a lot of people sending in tweets and Instagram DMs like, I'm supposed to be on a flight Sunday morning. I'm supposed to be on the ice with my kids Sunday morning.
I think all bets are off. You have to have a combo with your kid, like especially if your kid plays hockey. It's like you have to watch the game. Like this is a Canadian moment. It's like you're not going to practice. Any parent takes their kid to practice, and I do understand that they could put the game on the lobby on a TV like they have up at Central Arena in Collingwood, but it's not the same. You just got to every hockey parent that has practice, call the other coach and talk about the game and say, not happening today. It's a tie. It's a tie.
It's a very. I can tell you, we're scrambling right now because my youngest is supposed to be on the ice.
What for? What practice?
Well, they're playing a game, but they're going to flip
call the
it
other coach
to earlier. That's what's happening. The wheels are in motion. Believe me.
Yeah.
The wheels are in motion. Amanda, our head coach, she runs the whole operation, best in the business, is on it immediately. I'm not kidding you. McKinnon scored, and she sent a group chat saying, "We're on it, figuring this thing out. Wheels are in motion."
Like right away. She
like
knew
if we got to play at
exactly.
5 a.m., we're playing. Like, and I'm like, done. Let's figure that out because I can't go. I cannot be there if it's at 8 a.m. No chance. Like, gotta work. Gotta watch.
Dude,
the game.
your daughter that plays hockey probably doesn't want to go either.
Dying to watch the game. Exactly.
Yes.
Dying to watch the game.
Yeah.
Everyone is. You're right. This is like it's just such a massive.
Well, and it hasn't
Canadian moment.
happened, but it hasn't happened in so long.
Right.
Like, that's the thing. The Four Nations face-off, it grew on everybody. I think it grew on us, you and me, Hayes. You were in on
time.
it. Like, you were already in on it, but me and Hayes were kind of like, nah, whatever.
Yeah,
and then
you guys
it grew
were like,
on
nah, there's not a lot of teams there. It's going to be an all-star game.
Well, it
That's
was
what Hayes
four.
was saying.
Four
I did.
nations.
I
That was
carved it.
it. Like, we carved it early, and then it surprised us, and it was fantastic hockey. And this has been great hockey here in the last couple days. Last 3 or 4 games here, they've been unbelievable. Early on, like I said, wake me up because some of the countries aren't very good yet. They're coming, but they're not as strong as the ones that we're watching right now.
No, this is hook, line, and sinker. This one.
This is exactly.
And it's better and bigger and more significant because it's the Americans coming off, last year's Four Nations, and what we just went through. And, this is it's going to have a bigger feel, the game, but, that one felt very big because we had to wait so long, and
Yes.
the main characters, the McDavids and the McKinnons and the Matthews and the Eichels and all those, they never got to play in it. Like they never, and it does. Today's not the day to look back and say it's a bummer or how could they possibly allow this to happen. But we should have been there in 22, should have been there in 18, because this would have been McDavid's third Olympic Games and probably McKinnon's third, and it would be a different history. And they could go into the game on Sunday with probably a different mentality. Like they're going in. Yes, they've won in the NHL, and a lot of them have won cups and all that. This is a different beast.
Yeah, they want this one, man, because who knows? There's no guarantees about participation with this thing. This thing could go off the rails ASAP.
Yes.
Like they could, if those owners get together and say that schedule was a gong show, the quality is garbage, the injuries are nonsense, and there was just too much at risk for us to get there for those guys to play in this. So who the hell knows what's going to happen in the future? So you might want to make it count on Sunday.
And keep in mind, guys, even if it's 4 years from now and it's guaranteed, there's no guarantee that there's not an injury these players that we're talking about, get nicked up and can't play. Like, there's no guarantee. I was watching speed skating today. Guy, person trains their whole life, and the guy falls in the last lap.
Noodles, I saw the same thing.
It hurt my heart.
Sickening.
This athlete from China was in dead last, and everybody wiped out. Everybody wiped out with 2 laps left. She skated to the finish line and was like, gold medal.
Yeah.
Gold medal.
But, this is why you play the game. So there's no guarantee. You're right. This could be McDavid's third, and, he'll play again. But it's 4 years from now.
Well,
lots of things could change, right?
You know what could change in 4 years? I was talking to my dad about this today. Is in 4 years, McKinnon and McDavid might be on Celebrini's line. That's how it might be described. You're on his line now. He's on their line today.
Yeah.
4 years from now, there's a real chance. It's like, no, you're playing with him. That's the man.
McDavid's playing with Celebrini and Bedard.
Right.
And
it's like he can still move, and he's great, and he's 33 or whatever, but it's Celebrini's team.
Yeah.
That's the cap.
Might be.
That is possible. 4 years is a long time, man.
Could be Matthew Schaefer's team on the back end.
Big time.
That
Big
type
time.
of stuff.
Schaefer and McCarr, #1 pairing. Dynamite.
Man.
Yeah.
Because McCarr's still going to be there at 4 years. A lot of these guys on both teams.
Yeah, a lot of them are. It's just, this is an opportunity, and it's exciting. And I think that's
the depth guys for sure. We don't have to name names. I will. Brock Nelson probably won't be there in 4 years.
No.
Will Bo Horvat be there in 4 years? Probably not. You know,
what are you
Seth
talking
Jarvis.
about, Hayes? We're gonna go through every player on the Canada-American list on next Friday and debate whether if it's just going to be a yes or no. There, yes or no.
I love it. I love it because there's a bunch of guys who weren't there. Again, we'll see. We'll see who the GMs are. Who are the coaches in 4 years? I mean, we're putting the cart way before the horse. We still have we have the gold medal game to be played on Sunday. But man, it's awesome that this is what it's come to. And we had the conversation, Noodles, you and I, with Craig, you know, before the games, like, will it match the excitement of the Four Nations? And you know, I wasn't sure it would because without knowing the predictability of how it all was going to play out.
Right.
There's no fights, there's no hits, the animosity. You know, I said at the time there's no Bell Center. Remember how cool it was when Lemieux came out? Like, that was electric, man. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But now that we're here, you realize why, you know, the Olympics might be a step above. And it likely will be, you know, on Sunday. And it's going to be Canada, USA in the gold, and it's going to be Slovakia, Finland in the bronze. And Finland was up 2-0 today, and they played really well. Like, their first period, they were deserving to be in the lead. And as the game went on and on, Canada came alive.
Yeah.
And at the end, there was a bit of a controversial high stick call that they called, and McKinnon ended up scoring the winner with 35 seconds left. And I'm sure everyone in Finland was upset about it. And I'm pretty sure I know where our next guest stands on this. He is Hockey Hall of Famer, the Finnish Flash, the face probably of Finnish hockey, right? He's won so many medals with them. Here's Teemu Selanne. Teemu, how you doing?
I'm better now, but you know, it was a tough day to lose. But you know, what a great hockey! You know, I've been enjoying last couple of days with Olympic hockey when the best play against best. It's just been big treat.
Yeah, it's been a great tourney, and you know, obviously we're aware of your disappointment, and I guess we'll get right to it because you know you tweeted out what you sent out. You weren't happy with the high stick call on McKinnon. The fact that there were 2 Canadian refs calling the game. You know, the dust has settled a little bit here a few hours later. Why was that so disappointing to you? And, you know, how do you feel about the way the game ended?
Yeah, you know, first of all, I think Canada was the better team. I'm very disappointed that the Finns stop playing and they start playing more defense, and usually bad things happen after that, especially against a team like Canada. But, you know, I personally think it was a very soft call. You know, we all know that there's a different rules in the playoffs and last couple of minutes in overtime. And when the game ends like that, you know, I'm so disappointed because I'm used to that. The referees, it has to be murder that they're gonna call some kind of penalty. I know it was a one hand lift and hit a little bit McKinnon's jaw, and you know, he reacted you know, very smart way, you know. But you know, it just hurt because you know, I was hoping that the players gonna decide that, not the referees, and then there's a couple other ones. I think that was that. Goal interfering and the offside, and you know, there's 3 things what went all to the Canadian, the favor, and then you know, I hate to blame like referee and stuff because the Canada was better, and as a hockey fan, of course, we all want to see Canada USA in the final, and especially what happened in the Four Nations. I think it was the best thing what has happened in hockey for a long, long time. So, as a hockey fan, I'm super happy to see Canada USA final that we all have been waiting, but still it just hurt to lose that way against Canada.
Teemu, I totally agree on the severity of the penalty that needs to be called, like, near the end of the game. But as far as the Finns play, like, why do you think that happened to the Finnish team? Like, where they just – or do you have to give credit to the Canadians where they had some players that went out there and they poured it on? Is that, like, the Finns getting a little bit anxious, the idea of winning, or is that just Canada playing extremely well?
I think it was a combination of both. You know, of course, Canada, they was more desperate, and they said, you know, let's guys finish this game. We are better, and they were better. You know, and obviously, I always say that Canadian hockey, they can put 3 teams in the Olympics, and any of those can win. You know, so the depth what they have, it's amazing. You know, and you know, 60 minutes. You know, you have to be able to play 60 minutes against these kind of games against Canada. And we couldn't do it, you know. For some reason, third period, we were sitting back, and usually bad things happen when you start playing like that. But it's great for Canada. You know, they have unbelievable players. You know, so and like I said, they have a better hockey team. That's no doubt. But again, I want to see the endings always different way. And I say this, even if this would be opposite way, you know, that Canadian would take the soft penalty like that. I would say that's not right, you know. Same thing with the offside. You know, I think that's the worst rule in hockey, you know, especially after like 1 minute, they can call it back because it was an inch either way, you know. I don't like that kind of, you know, rules, you know.
So, Teemu, you've been in the Olympics. Take us through what you would have said to the guys in between the second and third where you're nursing a 2-1 lead. Is it just as simple as don't sit back, or is it, you know, attack like you
Give me the puck?
You're one of the best players to ever play for Finland. Like, what would you say, or what would be different had you been in that room if you helped the guys?
I always try to tell that, like, if you up after first, I always say, guys, let's start 0-0. Tie or better after second. That's our goal. So I always try to separate 3 different periods and not look ahead too much. And if you're down, you say, if you're down 1-0 or 2-0, say, guys, we win the next period and let's see what happens. Then we win the next one, the third period, and we will win the game if you win both periods. So I would just say that, guys, keep just pushing, you know, and let's play smart. Let's get the puck in when it's time, and let's get puck out when it's time. But we can't stop skating and stop playing, you know, because you can't change your style. Otherwise, you're kind of like, you're late a little bit everywhere, and then bad things happen.
With Teemu Selanne. So, you know, you've played for gold in 06. You've played for bronze. You know, take us through that mentality, Teemu, now that, again, the dust is settled. Finland put everything on the line. They had a chance to win. They had that game. But now you got to reset, and you want to leave with a medal. And they're going to play Slovakia this weekend. You know, how do you reset after heartbreak in the semifinals if you're Finland?
Well, obviously now it's all about the leaders in the dressing room to remind each other, make sure that every individual understands how valuable the bronze medal is. You know, not very often you can win the medals in the Olympics, especially when the best players are there. So remind that, and just there's nothing you can do about this game anymore. It sucks, I know, but we have to move on and take what is left there. And that's what I try to tell in the Sochi, that, you know, like we lost semifinal, and now we play against USA. USA, they came here to win the gold. The bronze doesn't feel them like it's supposed to be. Let's want it more than those guys, and we're going to win this. And when you leave with the medal in those tournaments, it feels so good. And a lot of times I say I'd rather win bronze than lose silver, because losing that Olympic final, it's so tough and disappointing. But you always win the bronze medal game. So, but of course silver is more valuable. But anyway, every time when you can leave with the medal in these kind of games, it's huge honor, and that's what those guys have to remind to each other.
So, Teemu, I need a favor. It's Noodles, Jamie McLennan here, because I woke up to a text from Mika Kiprasov sending me the Finnish paper, Iliati, I think it was called. It had said on the show yesterday, I was talking about the Finnish players and how they can get underneath your skin, and that's how they're going to have to agitate Team Canada. And I said they've got to play like rats. And that was what the headline was this morning. And Mika said, "Are you calling us rats?" So,
wanted man in Finland.
I'm a wanted man. I'm a wanted man in Finland. I know you're a god over there, so you've got to give me some love, or at least tell them, like, hey, some context to it, because I was doing it in a good way, saying that's how Finland has to play, is get underneath the skin. So.
No, you're right. You know, if you want to beat Canada, you have to make sure that you're gonna frustrate them and do the right things. You said the right things. I think it was just a fake news, you know. But I'm actually shocked that Mika is contacting somebody because he never answered the phone calls, no text messages, nothing. I thought he's like a loner somewhere, so good for you,
Yeah, he's at his cabin up north, I'm pretty sure. But I'm one of the only people that he still stays in contact with. But I woke up to that text this morning, and I thought, oh, no, I'm in trouble in Finland. So you're a god over there. You got to help me out.
I will, I promise.
I love it. There you go. We got Teemu helping you out, Noodles. We're back. We're back. We can go back to Finland. Well, it was a great game, and obviously, tough to be on the other side of it. But we can't thank you enough for joining us here and giving us all your insight. And enjoy the bronze, enjoy the gold medal game. It's going to be a great weekend, and we'll do it again down the road.
Yes, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
You got it. Teemu Selanne.
The Finnish Flash, man.
Finnish Flash.
I've told you guys numerous times my favorite Teemu story. He came up to me in warm-up, and I was like, is he going to go skate over to somebody else? And he said, can you send me over one of your sticks? I want to try it. And I looked at him, and I go, are you serious? And he said, yeah, I am serious. And I remember I looked at their schedule when their next game was. It was the very next night in Chicago, and I tuned in just to see, and he was using it.
No way.
I swear to God, the Finnish Flash.
Wow.
It was when the One Pieces first came out. And I've never talked to the guy in my life, and I was ripping home a bunch of goals at that time, and he came up to me, the Flash, and he goes, can you send over one of your sticks?
Because his sticks couldn't have been more opposite than yours. Oh, didn't he use his
he had
blade was
he used Titans, dude.
Yeah.
Like he had an old wooden Titan, and then I think he went to like some kind of coho or something, and it was a square, thick blade with kind of a gradual curve.
It was as wide as a goalie blade, and it kind of had like a little, like a 9-iron wedge type to it. It was
a piece of junk for how good that guy was. It was
weird
garbage.
tape job too. Didn't he only tape the
like
the
one
tip of the
garbage stick? He's one of the Holly would be disgusted in this guy's stick. It was gross.
Yeah.
But
he
got it done, man.
What a handle, Finnish Flash. What a guy.
Yeah.
And listen, I appreciate him coming on and saying he didn't back off. He's like, I don't like it. And I love what he said about the offside rule, too. I love that he sees it that way.
You've been saying it.
Such a stupid rule. It's a minute and 20 later. If that came back because of a millimeter offside, that would be ridiculous. And I appreciate Teemu Selanne seeing it that way as well. So great stuff, guys. Great catching up with Teemu. We'll come back with our best bets. Tee up the gold medal game. Canada-U.S. Sunday morning. OverDrive continues up on YouTube Live. All right, so we're rocking the hoodies. 10 years of OverDrive. On Sunday is the official 10th anniversary, which is wild. So it's probably the 10th year of our anniversary, then the gold medal game that people will be buzzing about on Sunday, which we appreciate. And to celebrate the 10th anniversary of OverDrive, we are giving away 10 of these exclusive OverDrive hoodies, 10 of them. And your chance to win them, you got to find our Instagram account at TSN1050 and enter for your chance to win one. So get to our Instagram account at TSN1050, find a way to get one of these 10 exclusive hoodies, and they are a thing of beauty. Thing of beauty. Noodles, what do you got for us?
They're the best. I got to give a shout out to Brooks and Wesley from Kingston. Met them on the weekend and at my son's hockey tournament, and they were a little sad because it didn't work out their way, but I wanted to give them a shout out. So
love that.
Shout out to Brooks and West.
Brooks and West, we love you, and keep battling, and you'll do good things.
Kingston.
Keep battling.
Kingston's the team, I believe.
Keep battling. Keep battling.
Yeah.
Shout out to, again, I mentioned Coach Amanda Mora.
Yes.
We're not playing at 8 tomorrow. We've moved it up, so we're all good. She is a legend. And everything's all good, so we're all set for the gold medal game on Sunday.
I got an idea for next week. We're going to put together 2 lines, 2D, and a goalie for the next Olympics, 4 years, and we've got to pick.
Yes.
Wow.
And people can vote who's got, not a full squad, just 2 lines, 4D, and a goalie for next Olympics. We're going to do that next week.
Cannot wait. Best bets powered by FanDuel. Huge number, but I'm laying it. Thunder massive tonight at home against Brooklyn. They're going to destroy this team. 30-plus tonight.
Shea back playing?
No, he's hurt. He's out another little bit. But they're so deep and Brooklyn's so bad it doesn't matter. Best bets powered by FanDuel. All right, Gold Medal Sunday. Gold Medal Sunday. Full coverage all day on TSN. We're going to be back on Monday. I think Prongs is coming up. Ray's coming up on Monday. It's going to be an unreal show on Monday. Cannot wait. Yeah. We're out of here. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in, TV, radio, podcast, web, and up on YouTube Live. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy your weekends. We're back Monday at
Big Earn. We got to dig down for one